Uh, Welcome to Otherworldly. This is Changing Times, Changing Worlds show for Wednesdays. And tonight, my guest is Harold. Write it. Just read it. Harold Sandford Carter III, who is a musician, and he has recently won the International Pagan Music Association's Best Artist of the Year awards. I'm impressed. And he is on Fringe TV, which is a new TV streaming channel on a Roku device or a smart TV, about which I know nothing. And he's going to have to explain that to us. And as with many pagans, he's had had enough experience in paganism where it's been a beneficial part of his life that helped him get through alcoholism and apparently I'm thinking prison, because he's working prison outreach, which to me sounds like something that you do when you've been there, done that, and want to help other people. So we have a lot of potential here. I want to start out by finding out more about this Fringe TV, because I am a complete novice and don't understand any of it. So you want to tell us a little bit? Welcome, Harold, and please introduce your assistant manager.
Yes, this is my assistant manager, Monica. She's also my girlfriend, so that's kind of convenient.
Is she also who was singing with you in that?
Absolutely.
Clip? Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. I thought she looked familiar. So
we do everything together pretty much.
Yep, everything.
Yay. I like that. So anyway, so tell me more about this thing I know nothing about, which is the Fringe TV, and then we can move on to more interesting things like you.
Okay. Yeah, Fringe TV was started in 2015. It started under the guise of the Circle of Ancient Sisters. And Circle of Ancient Sisters, they own a radio station, they publish a magazine, and they also own Fringe TV. As far as Fringe TV online goes, I am only the program manager of Fringe TV. I do all the programming. I will reach out to different television stations. I'll try to create content, book interviews, a lot of networking, a lot of pulling together. And right now, the pagan musician scene in the United States and worldwide is kind of the thing that's happening for Fringe right now. So we're doing a lot of networking with that and reaching out to all the musicians that have been nominated. But yeah, it's hard work. I sit behind a computer 8 hours a day, doing different things for that, a lot of emails. And in balancing that with, driving Uber Eats and balancing our personal endeavor with music, there's a lot to do. So we never stay, unbusy. We never have nothing to do. We never twiddle our thumbs. We're constantly servants to the pagan community.
As is people who are active that way does that. I'm going to be embarrassed to ask your lady's name again.
Monica or Munistera, either one you wish.
Okay, I just was embarrassed that I hadn't remembered it.
It's quite all right.
So anyway, yeah. So this may sound dumb, but what is this special device you have to listen to this online? Roku device or smart?
Oh, nothing. Nothing. Oh, Monica, please.
No special devices needed. You can go on any device, laptop, cell phone, and you just type in www.fringetv.online. We do have a Roku station, but it's not being fed right now. We found that Roku doesn't have the reach in other countries that we would like. So I don't know if that's going to be changing, but it really limits the viewers and getting out worldwide.
Fringe TV.online is operated by pagans and for pagans. We are seen in 58 countries, and many of those countries don't have Roku capability. Roku may be, in the future, but right now it's very unnecessary.
Yeah, you can still watch it on a television, smart television. All you have to do is hook up your HDMI cable from your computer or your tablet to your TV, and you can get a full screen on your TV.
A lot of the services that we offer, they cross over to social media. We'll upload our content to TikTok, we'll upload it to Facebook, and there'll be, instructional videos or inspirational videos like the one of the link that you posted, which I'm very happy you did, because that was kind of the inception of the actual programming, where Fringe TV is starting to be a production itself and not just acting as like a podcast. Because if you notice, there's lots of podcasts going on around, the pagan community, the witchy community, everyone's doing it, the Norse. I mean,
that's how we started. We were
Wiccans,
podcasting a
right.
year ago.
Yeah, we started a year ago under the name of the Lone Wolf Show. And basically what we did is we reached out to pagan elders of the world, witch elders of the world, the authors, the musicians, and anybody that we could reach out, that would give us historical points of view on the craft. To get to the bottom of it, and Monica and I's stance on the core of the craft is very, very important.
Now, what is your stance on the core of the craft?
Well, the reason why we started the podcast, to meet people, but we were seekers, and we were looking for where we belong, what tradition, fit what we felt was right in our hearts. So we follow the old path, circle of ancient wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. See, I am what you call eclectic, but I hesitate. I dislike the term solitary because it implies Wiccan, and I am a polytheistic animist. Shinto comes pretty close to it, but then so does a lot of other things. I like the Druids, I like the heathens,
Yeah, that's exactly where we were at.
But I've never got into Wiccan. I always trip over perfect love and perfect trust. I don't perfectly trust anybody, not even myself. So I can't do that. And I'm very big on honesty. So if you haven't kept the perfect trust, no. But anyway, that's where I am. I like Lone Wolf. He's called Lone Wolf because I love that phrase. He's coming from an eat or be eaten culture.
Mm-hmm.
And that got me.
Right. Something that you said about being eclectic. I think it's a good term. It has value. But I think anybody who practices the craft is eclectic. No matter what tradition or culture that you're involved in, they're all collected, because that's what witches do. We take from many, many different places and incorporate what works for us.
Yeah, I am. You missed the beginning. I started talking about holidays before the show starts recording. The 10 minutes before.
Cool.
Because I'm into holidays. A, I'm into food, and B, I'm into history.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it's the other way around. But I mean, I think when you're looking at paganism, a lot of what we're learning is from what did the pagans do before there was Wicca, before there was, and so
that was our question also.
That's
so
my
that's
question.
What we investigated.
Well, we know that the definition of pagan is a country dweller.
Yeah, so is heathen, and
Mm-hmm.
so sometimes I get mad at both of them and just call myself a rustic, because it's like, yeah, I'm a country dweller. I talk to the land spirits, and I use magic. I do herbs. I do all that. What I should be, but I don't want to talk about me. I want to talk about you guys. You're
Sure.
doing music. I mean, you say music to me, and I'm old enough that I think Gwydion, Songs of the Old Religion, which I'm sure you're familiar.
Mm-hmm.
But now, no, if you go to Pagan Pride, our local Pagan Pride days, I get to listen to, well, not Featherscale anymore because they broke up, but Jenna Green and Kellyanna and Chris LaFond and and I'm sure, depending where you are, and I have no idea where you are.
You guys are in New Hampshire.
I'm in New Hampshire.
We talked about, yeah, I'm from New Hampshire. I was born in Manchester and grew up in Concord. I left when I was 17. Ain't been home much since.
Right now we're in Pennsylvania. I'm from the rainforest of Washington State.
And I'm originally from New Hampshire.
Cool. Yeah, I'm very sad because Dana Corby, I don't know if you know if you listen to songs of the old religion, she is that lovely haunting voice that the females in these songs of the old religion, and the what's it, shaman, whatever his other one was, but that's 50 years ago. And I love pagan music, people who are writing their own pagan hymns, and there's a lot of music out there, and popular music that you can tell they're pagan. They're not saying they are, but you can tell they are. I'm looking forward to listening to more of your music.
Thanks.
Finding out what you're writing. Are you writing your own songs, or are you just
Absolutely.
good? That's what I got the impression of. And when you say core of the craft, are you talking magic?
I mean, we can talk magic, but magic is not really something that we do. It's something that we are. We live the magic.
Yeah. People say, do you believe in magic? It's like, I don't know if I believe in it. I do it all the time.
I think everybody believes in magic. How many people, blown out a candle at their birthday party when they were kids?
Or adults.
Make a wish, yeah.
But yeah, and we all want wishes, but we have to learn the how many movies have at the core of them, be careful what you wish for, because you might get it.
Right.
Yeah, that learning experiences.
Yeah.
And the earth has filters on it to keep wishes from happening, because we are irresponsible wishers. But another thing I saw in the description was you're releasing this domestication. Do you remember when you wrote that, what you meant? Because what is the domestication that you are releasing? Is that your wolf part?
Well, I'm not sure what text that you had read.
One of the things you sent to me, you sent me a lot of stuff, and it was fascinating, but I couldn't figure out what that one meant, so I figured I would ask you about it. And now you don't remember, so that's okay. We'll move onward from that.
Sure.
Let's talk more about the music, because I haven't had that many musicians on before.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I mean, music is, we walk a modern bardic path. We haven't been on that path very long. I mean, we've been on the bardic path, in the web, in the community, probably for about a year. I've recorded and played music probably since I was a teenager. Yeah. But I've been, writing my lyrics. I've been inspired by, the craft for years and years.
We are creators,
yes.
And our spirits, the god and goddesses, like us to create. So when you find a way to create, you are blessed, and it's magic. And Harold does a wonderful job creating and putting magic out with music.
Yeah, we talked about magic. I mean, music is a great form of magic. It's repetitional. It's repetitive. It has repetitiveness. And a lot of times I find that when I write these songs, 6 months to a year down the road, whatever I'm writing about, if it hasn't happened yet, is happening. It is manifesting. And I think that's a very potent thing.
It does. And I was thinking about, remember the sound of music. How do you stop somebody who has music inside them from letting it out? You can't. It's not going to happen.
Well, they go cuckoo.
If you don't let it out, it can cause you illness, and you have blockages. And it's good to find some sort of craft, some sort of creative activity to do. Even if you don't think you're good at it, do it, and you will be amazed. An
outlet. A lot of times I've told myself that, because I'm a man, and I try to be sentimental, and I try to be, I try to have I don't cry much, but when I write music, I find myself able to cry sometimes. Sometimes I write a song and I'll be like, wow, that was so emotional. I start crying after. So it's a release. It's an outlet for me. And it probably is for a lot of the musicians in their own way. But everybody has, some people release that through writing, through painting, or through sports, or, or podcasting. It's a release, it's a release.
Yeah, I think that's I'm not sure whether people use magic for that, because that's a lot more direct. But art, yeah. I mean, this is part of the reason people need art, because they need it to let them cry when necessary. There are movies I've watched 15, 20 times, and I still cry when they come to this part that makes me cry. Mm-hmm. That's what it's there for. There are times I feel like crying, and I'll go to an old book that I know I'll cry, because if you need to cry, art helps you with that. So we need a little bit more of the art that can make you happy, but I don't suppose people suppress that as much as they do the urge to cry. But yeah, so I'm assuming you two are Monica, are an artist, and that couldn't possibly hold it in if you tried, and you aren't going to.
Yes, I've been an artist my whole life, but I didn't really get into the art of music a lot until I met Harold. I did pick it up a little bit. I started learning to play the guitar a few years ago. As a child, I really wanted to play the drums. And back when I was growing up and going from grade school to junior high, we had to pick out our instrument, and I wanted the drum, and I was told, no, that's for boys. So
you're a girl.
You can't, you're a girl. And say they told me I need to play the flute. That's what girls play. But instead I chose the clarinet, because there was a few boys that were playing that too. So I started that way, but I've been a dancer. I was a dancer from the time I was 3 up until 16. I really love painting. I love carving. I just love creating things. I love repurposing old things into new things, and creating anything my mind can imagine.
Monica plays the shamanistic drum. That's her main squeeze.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I just think. Have you guys encountered Coyote Run? They're no longer performing, but boy, it was talk about a drummer. Catherine was like amazing. So if you haven't, and go to the internet, look up Coyote Run, and look at Catherine on the drumming.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I haven't heard her. We just hung out with Sue Belichick with Primal Rhythm last night. And she is a wonderful drummer. She has an all-female drumming band. And she's really an inspiration to, get past that stereotypical that men or women can't be drummers. And so that's wonderful.
Wicked awesome drummer on the djembe. Bam, 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 bam. She's wicked good.
Yeah, I'm have you been to Starwood?
Yeah.
Yes.
And the drumming circle there, it's like, oh my goodness. I am not into drumming, but I got a great deal of appreciation of how good drummers could be. When we went there, they were going when we got there, and it would fade down toward 4 or 5 in the morning, and around dawn there would be a crescendo, and then after dawn around 7 o'clock it would fade out for about 2 or 3 hours till about 9 in the morning, and then it would start going up again. Oh my goodness, do they drum at Starwood? It's amazing.
Yes, we were able to go to the main fire ritual when we were at Starwood last year. This first year that we were there. We went there with IPMA, the International Pagan Music Association. That's where they held their award ceremony. And they also had a lot of performers there for that. So we went for that, and it was beautiful. The drum circle with the lighting of the fire and just the energy that going around the circle and the drum raises, it really is magical.
Yeah, I mean, it is exactly what they say it is. It's transformational. You could see a mushroom walk by. There's people on all fours that are wolves. There's shapeshifters there. That the hippies are there, the pagans are there, the Wiccans are there, the witches are there. It's a great place. There's great music there, and you can be whatever you want to be, and nobody can say nothing about it because it's all accepting, all inclusive, and it's just a peaceful place. It's a peaceful place.
That's what we kind of always want is for all of the different groups to get along and stop fussing over, okay, well, we do it differently than you do. It's like, yeah, isn't that cool? Yes. Let's see how you do it. Okay, now you want to see how we do it? Okay, whatever. And just get on with it. I'm hoping the reason that we started the Changing Times, Changing Worlds conference was because we would like to get the world to the point where it can accept people are psychic, magic is real, and get on with it. Because denying that it's real is such a stumbling block for the practical uses of it. Can you imagine, for instance, a world in which nobody believed in music? And of course, the people that can't keep it from doing it, they would sing or whistle or whatever, or drum, and people would say, you're affecting our emotions. You're having an impact on me. That's bad. You mustn't do that. I don't believe that. That's not, nobody does that. Stop it. And that's kind of what we're doing with magic. But because it's powerful, and pretending it isn't real is, well, for me, it's annoying.
They almost did that, because back a long time ago, they all the music was played on the Sophageo frequencies, and those are magic frequencies. Those are the frequencies that opens your chakras and heal you and connects you with spirit. And they took those away. They changed it to use other frequencies. So they tried to take that away, and they kind of slyly did it. So there is some that you can get that way, but there's also frequencies that you can get there that way through tuning forks and do other things. So that's a big something I do. So that's really important to me.
Are you're doing this with the magical frequencies?
No, but we've talked about incorporating that into our music, but we haven't quite figured out how to do that yet. But
how to make it safe for the audience?
Oh, yes, it's quite safe. You ever heard the singing bowls? The singing bowls, have you done, like singing bowls or anything like that? Sound bath therapy. It's similar to that. That also can get into those frequencies, but it's not pinpoint.
Control.
And so the tuning forks that are tuned to the Sophageo frequencies really pinpoint to heal your chakras and get the energy flowing in the proper way.
And in sound healing and sound resonating, pulsates right through the astral worlds, for one. Just think of a violin in one room playing, and in the very next room you have a piano. After a while, the violin is going to start making that violin sing with it. And that's just how potent that these frequencies act. They'll penetrate the astral.
Yeah. Or they used to have, a friend of mine was talking about a Christmas that he was at, and the minister just said, keep keep doing it, but listen. And the rafters were ringing. You heard the rafters ring when they were singing, and it made the rafters begin to vibrate and
that's what the drum beat then does. The drum beats gets into that frequency, and that's why it's so healing and puts you into an altered state that you can connect better with spirit.
Yeah, and music is precisely what the first shamans on the planet would do. to induce trance-like states, to go on shamanic journeying. That's just, it's in drumming is the heartbeat of paganism. And that's something that I learned recently from a somebody that's really helped me along with music. But if you think about it, drumming is the heartbeat of pagan music. And I think it's the heartbeat of all music.
Well, another name for the Viking era is the drumming era, because the shamans and the Sami were right there with them, and drumming and music was very big in that time.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. They were suspicious of Odin because he was beating on a box, which they think is essentially drumming, and that threw him into the, oh, you're doing magic with that thing. And
now most of the stories written come from a Christian viewpoint of that. So really take a look at the archaeology that bypasses that. So there's a lot of newer stuff out that really dives deep down into that without looking at the Christian aspects.
So with with your show, with Fringe TV, you're looking for other pagan musicians, you're collecting them and putting their work out there.
Well, if you're a pagan musician and you play music, if you don't already have a music video, like I'll inspire them, make a music video. We'll play it on our station. You know what I mean? If it's good, if it's true, if it's true to the ears, we'll play it on the station, no doubt.
There's a lot of musicians that are older school that don't have the technology or the know-how to make videos, and it's quite expensive to have a production company do that for you. So we did recently offer a service that we can make musicians music videos for a very affordable price to help them out and help them get on the television networks. We're not the only one out there now. So we were alone for quite a few years. It's 2022. So I think it was at 6-7 years that Fringe was the only pagan television network out there. But now there's another one, but it seems that they also need content like that. So we have our service that we do, and pagan musicians can send us a video clip and audio clip and give us some information, and we can do it quite affordable for them.
Okay. And
that also helps us not having to go out and deliver Uber Eats and DoorDash and put more and have more time to give back to the community.
And another thing people will recognize is there are a few pagan radio stations that play. One of them is International Pagan Radio, and one of them is the Colgin.net. Now, these are radio stations that all the pagan musicians kind of flock to, and as paganism kind of implodes and explodes in our country, so won't the music, so won't the musicians, because, it's common knowledge, we're imploding, we're exploding, a lot of the mainstream religions are on the decline, and this is, I guess it's something to be proud about, but it's also something to think about, because there's a lot of responsibility that's going to come with that, especially upon the elders or the olders or the pioneers.
Yeah.
So when you chant, or when you say something, sing something, you call in that energy and call in the spirit, and then you put that out in music, and then people that don't know what it is, they listen to it, but they're still getting that. So it helps open them. It helps them to awaken, because a lot of people are, limited with their old beliefs, and it really helps them. So I think pagan music really has brought this to paganism, all the people that are finding it and seeing what exactly it is, and helping them change their mind of, the truth about it.
I mean, pagan music is categorized as pagan music, but also esoteric music. And one thing to keep in mind is, a lot of spiritual music is always positive. It doesn't have the commercialism of of like some of the mainstream bands, especially in genres like hip hop. I'm a pagan hip hop artist, you know, and
Really?
yes, I am, and I always keep it very positive.
And where do we go to find some of that? You know, is it on the Lone Wolf Show?
I mean, there's clips in the beginning of it, but if you go on YouTube and you just type in Harold Sandford Carter III, and I mean, you'll have an abundance of
You
music.
peek?
I mean, I guess you could, but it wouldn't sound very good just not inserted into the program. It's just like offshoot on air. I mean, but
If you can, feel free to put any really cool links into the chat
Okay.
so that people can follow them, because damn, I mean, we're trying to facilitate people finding out more about things they want to find out about. So
We play a lot of everyone's music videos on Fringe TV. So if you just tune in to www.fringetv.online, we do have pagan music that runs every Tuesday morning. From what times?
the pagan music matinee will run 10 to 12 on Tuesday. And then you'll have the pagan music video spotlight that runs on 7 p.m.
But you can also find our music by searching Harold Sandford Carter III. And I also have it on mine. You can find me under Monica Marie Smith Munistera. Our artist page is Lone Wolf and Munistera. And then we also have a really good the Core Witchcraft teaching group on Facebook, and that's Witchcraft Teaching the Core in parentheses.
You know, and pagan music, you know, it's a pretty close-knitted community. Like if you're a pagan musician and you're doing it, you're going to festivals, you're getting your name out, you're getting booked by shows, you're going to Starwood, you're going to PSG, you're going to the pagan prides. Like most of us know each other, and it's almost like an interweb. Now, if you're a modern day pagan musician, I would say probably 80% of all of it, maybe 75%, is played on Fringe right now.
cool. So see, I'd never heard of Fringe before, so clearly we need to promote. You need to promote in places you haven't hit before.
That's what we're trying to do. Yes.
Which is not unlike Changing Times, which I think everybody should be interested in, and nobody seems to have heard of.
Right. I mean, what it is it's a technological advance. I mean, we went through you know, this COVID-19 thing where people were congested in their homes, and now everybody's forced to do Zoom. They're forced to do, you know, messengers, talk to their relatives. So now, like, a lot of Americans are adept into like telecommunications, you know, that are older folks, you know, not saying that you're old. I'm old too. Yeah, you know,
Trust me, I'm old.
and it's just like it's a networking thing. And as we evolve, you know, technologically, you know, things like you know, online television is possible.
Yeah, now we don't have a budget. This is all volunteer. We even put some of our own money into running the station and for the programs we use to make content. So we don't have a budget for advertising. So we rely on word of mouth and people sharing it and getting the word out. And, you know, we go to festivals and we try to talk about it there. We do have some podcasts in possibly a television station we're going to do an interview on soon about Fringe. So hopefully that will be a lot of help of getting the word out.
I have just clicked something and I can't see you. I can see if my son can get me back to.
Oh, we can definitely hear you. Well, we see you, we hear you.
You can see me and hear me, and I can't see you. There we go. Yeah, but I had to have my son come in. It's very embarrassing. I spent a great deal of my life feeling very bright, and suddenly technology is making me feel like I had
to have my children teach me how to use the smartphone too.
They're like gremlins, and the gremlins in the tech. That's all.
Yeah.
Happens all the time.
But somehow I think there's a little. Sometimes I even feel a little click in my head saying, "You're turning off your brain. You're not going to learn that." It's like, no, I need to know this. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to let people know about new resources they don't know about. So I am not going to do the thing where you say, well, can you share some of your music with us right now? Links are good. We can follow and seek your music ourselves. But
how about this? Why don't you do our little lone wolf intro with the lone wolf?
I mean, I can.
He has a wonderful voice, and he does just more than hip hop. He's
sweetheart. The guitar's not tuned. We haven't played since Florida.
Just do your acapella.
We haven't played till Florida. It's not acapella song. But Fringe TV does. We will broadcast the pagan musicians. We also have an abundance of documentaries, and we play footage, that are archived. Like we have actual footage of Gerald B. Gardner on Fringe.
cool.
We have footage of Raymond Buckland. We have footage of prominent elders in Australia. We have
a new series going to start with Tamara von Forslund, the Witch of Oz
Right.
in Australia, and she's doing holistic healing and herbology. The course that she teaches on this usually lasts a few years, and she's doing an entire series that will be airing on Fringe soon.
We have Third Degree Priestess that does a wonderful astrology show, tarot show with instruction.
Shaman Weaver,
Right.
she does weekly drumming for a half an hour, and it's not just drumming, but she also talks about different subjects to really help you connect and
Shamanism.
understand. Yeah, that's a really great
Shamanism,
show.
and we're also tied into another the Wiccans, the ATC. Belladonna Laveau does a show, and also another brilliant man named Terry Riley, who's Southern Delta, who does so much for his community. A lot of the modern pagan leaders in the country, are on Fringe, are tied into Fringe. They know about Fringe, and we kind of all network together, and like Monica was saying, it is a nonprofit organization. Like we don't get paid for this. We literally have slave collars on, and we are literally slaves to the old ways. And we do that, and I do this as a service because honestly, and we haven't gotten into my past at all, but I don't know anything else. I don't know how to survive anywhere else. If I can elaborate on my path, that would be great. If I can elaborate on my path, my past. Okay, so as we know that I'm from New Hampshire, and we know that Manchester has that youth development center, the YDC over there. Okay, I was at YDC when I was a child. I also ended up doing, I was in and out of penal institutions for 15 years. I've been a prisoner in 4 different states, all around the country: Louisiana, Maine, Denver, out west, and probably more that I can't remember, in Louisiana, if I said it twice, I guess. But anyways, that was a result of alcoholism. And I'm no longer drowning in alcoholism, but it was the craft that got me clean. And that's very factual. And you want to talk about magic. Okay, there is a practitioner by the name of Doreen Valiente that some of us have heard of, and she was the author of what is known as The Charge of the Goddess. Now, in The Charge of the Goddess, there's an excerpt in there that says, you will forever reach your highest ideals. In some capacity of reaching your highest ideals. So basically the excerpt is being the best you possible. Now I had a priest, a Lothlorien priest, reach out to me while I was in jail, and he told me, Harold, you need to quit drinking and you need to start reaching your highest ideal, because although I don't recognize as Wiccan modern time, I recognize as a practitioner of the old ways. I was a practitioner of Wicca, or a student of Wicca for many, many decades. Because every time I would go to jail, all I would do in solitary confinement is read books. I would read Golden Dawn, I would read Crowley, I would read Wicca, all of the 101s, anything that I could get a hold of, even the Judaic text I would read. Now this became a witch school, because that's all I did. Once I was able to conquer alcoholism through the works of Doreen Valiente, what I did is I pulled her writing and something just clicked. Sometimes people just get something, they hear something that clicks. That's what clicked. I wanted to walk a path of the old ways. There's no way that I can do that incarcerated. I was always talking about, well, we need pagan rites in here. You won't let us go and worship like the Christians, the Muslims, the Buddhists, the natives in jail, because we really were a minority in jail. And we're still a minority in society. We're still only, what, 0.8, 0.9% pagan, from the other main straight religions. I don't know the statistics. So please don't fact check me.
No, nobody knows the statistics.
Right.
Personally, I guess that the 0.8 million is very close to current, but I think it's a lot closer to 2 million.
Mm-hmm.
But because people are doing it privately in their homes, it's hard to count. If they don't put that box down for you to check off, then they can't count you, and they're not putting that in there. So sorry, didn't mean to interrupt, but that's a annoying thing for me.
Right. But basically that's this is what it has happened. I'm still on state parole. Now I've been on state parole, and during this time, I got an award from the IPMA, the International Pagan Music Association, for Best Male Artist of the Year for 2022. I was just nominated again this year. And I also I'm the program manager of Fringe TV. Now, this proves that a pagan path, a craft path of the old ways, is good enough to keep someone that suffered from alcohol. I don't want to. Well, I just want to say the archaic wisdom of the whole thing, has helped me a lot. It has made me ascend in ways that I never thought possible. Now, I don't claim to be all wise in all this stuff, but I'm a lot more smarter than I was 2 years ago sitting in that cell. And I had a lot of help along the way. Like we told you that we were podcasters. Now, while we were podcasters before we became Fringe TV as program managers only, we reached out to all the modern pioneers and elders of the craft. So we had conversations with them. I got to pick their brains, and also
and
they got to
became very good friends with.
Yeah, some of them became our friends. And I think what it boils down to is
family.
It could boil down to family. Especially if you're into group souls, or so to speak. Like, there's just always a connection. I think that I'm really not even sure what the direction of the interview really is. But I guess my ultimate message is, be the best you possible. Every day you want to be the best version of yourself. When you have flaws, if you can identify those flaws, identify them and try to do better. And it's good that you learn from your mistakes. But it's great to learn from the mistakes of others.
And it's not just prison some people are trapped in. Some people, I was trapped in a corporate world that I spent 60 to 70, 80, sometimes 90 hours a week working for someone else. And I did not love my job. I didn't create. I didn't help. I didn't heal other people or help other people and help them figure things out. And then I kept getting the message to stop doing what you don't love. Just do only what you love. It's okay. We're going to take care of you. Quit your job. Do only what you love. And I ended up finally doing it. I just quit my job and dedicated to doing only what I love. And that's helping others and paganism and helping people learn the old ways to help themselves and just being a servant to the community.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's basically my story. If when prisoners get out of jail, sometimes they reach out to me, and and because I'm trekking a path here. How many times has an ex-prisoner gotten out of jail, won awards from the pagan community, and then was able to progress in a trajectory that I have, and network with people like I have. It's a seldom thing. It's not really a path that has been trekked very often. So now, in a lot of ways, I become the gatekeeper of ex-prisoners who come out of jail. Oh, you just came out of jail. You like the old ways, do you? You like the craft. Okay. Well, we know a guy. Talk to this guy, because it's like something that you just kind of pass along. Now I guess it's a foundation. I guess everybody's got their own story. But I guess the most that I can do in this life is just to try to have honor. I've made a lot of mistakes while I was drinking the grandpa's medicine and everything, but the video game's not over. I've found me a magic mushroom and I'm gnawing on it.
Well, I haven't, I didn't focus this is what I'm going to do with this interview, but when people get excited about, you get that tone of voice you just had, this is exciting for me. That's what I'm always looking for. You're high on helping people.
Yeah.
And you found a way to do it. It's like, this rocks. Is there any way, recently Ed Harbert and Reverend Lon had a podcast that talking about volunteers, and the key that they put out there was you got to tell the volunteer what specifically you want from them. Do you have anything that you could suggest for people who would like to help with this?
I have another opinion, because if someone's going to tell you what they want, that's someone controlling you. And what is better is finding that person's gift. What is their creative gift? We all have creative gifts, and really find out about the person and nurture that. Everyone has a different gift, and there's somebody, out there for every position that's needed. But find your gift inside, find what's true to you, find what you love to do. And if you are going to be stifled by someone saying, okay, this is what I want you to be, or this is what I want you to do, you're not going to have that fire and passion. We succeed at this because that is what we love to do. We have that fire and passion.
I don't think it's so much that as asking people, saying that there's a need for this. As a frequent speaker, I know that there's nothing that motivates a speaker as much as being told, oh, people have been asking for somebody to talk about this subject. You're a lot more, it's like, yeah, I can come up with something. What's the theme for this year? It's like, but if you say, we really want, we've got several people who've asked for a class on herbalism. We've had several people who want to hear more about the practical aspect of astrology. And I think that's what they're saying is, if you can tell people that something that they know is something that somebody else is desperate to find out about it, that's how you organize volunteers, is you let them know that what they have is valuable and people do want it. A lot of people stifle what so many other people would really like to hear because they don't value it. Our culture does not tell people to value their passions. And
that's what I think needs to be changed, because because when I meet somebody, what's your passion? What can you do? Let them choose there's a spot for everyone. You tell me what your passion is, what you want to do. If you don't know what that is, I'll help you find that.
There you go.
Then we will find where you can fit in to do the work and to help other people. So I think it's going about it. That's the way the corporations went about it. And I did not find that to be a good way. And I don't think it's a good way in my experience.
Well, I'm thinking about volunteer work. I always put it in perspective of Mother Nature will never lie to us. You can go to anywhere you want on this planet, anywheres in any country, to any tradition, any school of thought, and they will tell you what they have found to be truth. Mm-hmm. The truth is Mother Nature will never lie to you. With that being said, if you put a wolf in the woods and he wants to eat, he's got to work for it. When you work for it, then you get to eat. In this community, I am going to work for it. I don't want volunteers. I'm going to do the work. If people are inspired by my actions, then that just makes me a better leader. And I know I'm a leader. I'm Aries. Aries is hell. There's the ego right there. Now, then there's a time and a place for the ego. And I learned that from the Norse.
There is. And I would say that from the heathen perspective, that you have found some way of turning your luck around, which the
Yes.
North talk about luck as being something that is a quality of the soul.
Yep.
So for our shows, we don't go to people that may be able to make a television show and say, this is what our viewers want, this is what we need. No, they come to us, or we say, you know, what's your passion? Do you have anything that you want to get the word out and share with other people? So, and that's where the passion comes from. I mean, Shaman Weaver, that does the drum circle every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
She was drumming every day for over a year on Facebook. It's her passion. And she didn't charge anyone for the teaching she did with that. And it's just her passion to put love and healing out to everyone, and to open people up to the sound of the drum and for knowledge while you listen. And it's her passion. And she, you know, found out that we were doing this, and you know, you want to bring what you do to Fringe TV. And yes, and that's how it all is. We don't say we need this show and then find someone to do it. It's what they're already passionate about, and then they come to us, or we ask them, what are you passionate about? You know, where can you be of service? Being of service is very important, I feel, to raise your vibration, and to move you to a higher level, and to get more gifts from God, be able to do more magic. When you have a higher vibration, everything comes to you so much easier.
Yeah, I would say that if you have broken away from the pattern of an alcoholic who's been out of penal system for years, I'm seeing the finger of God there. I think they have tapped you and said, oh, here's a tool we can use. And you are being used for the plans of the universe, or the gods, or whichever. It sounds like I am so excited to have had you tell me more about Fringe TV. I'm going to have to figure out how to see it on my technology, even if my brain clicks and says, you can't do that, you old lady, you.
You just type into your web browser www.fringetv, or we can just send
Yeah,
you
you
a
don't
link.
even do that. 'Cause
Yeah. And I'll
I'll
look for Lone Wolf Show, because that sounds like something that I'd be interested.
That's on Sundays at 3 p.m.
yeah, Sundays at 3:00. Our guest this Sunday is Brian Kane.
Yes.
Yeah, Brian Kane. Brian Kane just wrote a book, and we have great guests. We have great guests.
We also do the reruns daily at what time?
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock a.m. So you can
Yeah,
catch that. And it's all local time. So it doesn't matter if you're in New Hampshire or you're sitting over in Seattle, Washington. It's going to be your 9 o'clock, and it's going to be Seattle's 9 o'clock.
It sounds
so
like
you don't have to figure out any time zones.
It sounds like you're a fan of Dana Corby.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, she can't. She's out on the West Coast. Or I think Vancouver is where I'm.
I interviewed Dana Corby, and I'll send you the show right after our call.
Oh, I'd love to, because she can't get to Zoom on her computer. So, and
she is the old school. She is one of the pioneers from the old school of that core that I'm looking for, and she was very exciting to talk to.
She is brilliant. I really like the idea of learning the basics, learning the foundational, this may be your core of magic.
Intent.
To me, it's like physics, only it's metaphysics. It has rules. It works. It's not made up. And so this sounds like a good thing. I'm going to have to look for that. Very excited about see any more of Dana. She's got books, but So yeah, it's we are in a strange position where you have more validity if you're an author, if you've got books out. So which I've resisted because I don't like that dialectic. Yeah, I put out cookbooks. Cookbooks are cool, but
Can I take just a minute?
Yeah.
Just a
go
minute.
for it,
This
Stone.
is fantastic. I love you guys.
Go
Okay,
I
Stone.
love
thank
you
you.
guys.
Blessed
And
be.
you'll see me, Stone Riley. Hi, I'll
Blessed
find
be.
some way to be a contributor. Okay.
Yeah.
Bye for now.
Okay,
Blessed
yeah,
be.
So
we're
much.
getting close to the end. Does anybody else have something they like, question they want to ask, or because otherwise we're gonna have to wrap up. And yeah, so there we are.
Well, thank you so much for having us. It was really a pleasure to come join you and get to know more faces.
Mhm.
Yeah, Boston Red Sox all the way. Hell yeah. New England Patriots. You know it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. If you're down in the Pennsylvania, that may be an unpopular people and sports. I'm sorry, I don't get it.
I don't watch them either.
Give me
From there.
history. Yeah, I want the history. But
Yeah.
anyway, thank you so much for coming on and explaining things that I didn't know before,
Sure.
which is my drug of choice. And okay, my drug of choice may well be sugar.
Coffee.
Yeah, well, I never got into coffee, but I'm going to say goodnight, and then I'm going to push the button on the recording thing, and